what's up guys? Coach Jesse Mitchell with Get Handles. Today I'm going to show you how to never get the ball stolen again. And the keys I'm going to give you in this video are going to be some traditional things as well as some new things that you probably haven't thought of or been taught before from coaches. To be an effective player, you have to be willing to attack and take a few chances from time to time. So with that being said, there's going to be times where the ball is going to get stolen, but if you try to follow these tips that I'm giving you in this and you follow them to a T, you shouldn't have an issue with getting the ball stolen. So the very first one though is you have to make sure you have an understanding of how to read and react to your defender and know what moves to use when. Now I have a lot of videos on my channel on how to read and react to your defender, but in this video I'm going to focus more on just some techniques that you can use to make sure you don't get the ball stolen. Okay, so for all these techniques we're going to be following one main concept, but I'm going to give you some unique ways to put it into place, and it's basically the old school method of defender, body, basketball. Anytime the defender's here, you want to make sure you got your body between him and the basketball to protect it. I'm going to give you some unique ways to put this into place in this video though, not just the traditional protection dribble, which we're going to talk about to some degree as well. But one thing to keep in mind is just your ball positioning, right? Keeping the ball back here is a great way to make it a lot harder for the defender to steal the basketball, and if he does go to steal, he's going to have to really get out of position to do so, and he's going to create an easy path for you to go this way, okay? No matter what kind of a position your legs are in, always trying to think about when you get close to your defender, having the basketball kind of behind you can really help with that. Whether we got this leg forward or this leg forward, keeping it back here is going to make it harder for them to reach in and steal the ball. All right, next let's talk about your traditional protection dribble. That's basically going to amount to turning your body sideways so you kind of got your leg to protect, and then you can put your off arm up to protect as well, kind of in an arm bar position is what I call it, just to, shield off the defender from getting into the basketball. Again, it's kind of the basic concept like we just talked about of keeping the ball back here. You're just turning your whole body to give yourself that extra bit of protection with your arm. That's one of the first things you're going to want to know about and keep in mind, especially if you're more of a beginner. I'm going to give you some more advanced ways of doing protection after this. That alone right there is a great way to make sure you don't get the ball stolen. However, the issue I have with that is it kind of puts you in a position where you can't really see this side of the court as well. Sure, you can turn your head to see, but I feel like it doesn't open as many options as to quickly change directions this way because you have to turn your entire body. You do have some other options from this though that I'm going to get into in just a second, but bare bones basics, this is pretty much where it's at. This right here, and like we talked about, keeping in mind your ball positioning. Hey, if these tips are helping you out, make sure you hit that like button for me. Okay, this next method is one of my favorites, and it's kind of a more modern way of protecting the basketball. You see guys like Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving doing, and it's basically not even pulling the ball back all that far, keeping it a little tighter to the body, but using your offhand to come in front of the basketball, okay, whether you're doing your crossover dribbles or whatever the case may be. I find this has a ton of benefits. Number one, you could quickly go into a shot fake hesitation, right? By having your other hand come by the basketball, looks like you might pick it up. Number two, if you have the hand right here, you're still protecting the basketball, right? So if the defender tries to come and steal the basketball, they're gonna hit this hand. So it's kind of a more, quick and agile way of protecting the basketball. And then the third thing I like about it is I find it on your crossovers, if you swing both hands back and forth, it just makes the crossover feel more natural, controlled, and easy to do. This way you can see the entire floor, get your eyes up to a rim for a shot fake hesitation quick, and go into crossovers a little bit more smoothly. Yet again, another little bit more modern way of protecting the basketball. Again, we talked about ball positioning before, right? Defender, body, basketball. Well, another way to do that while keeping your body face towards the basket and being able to get tight to your defender instead of going into this protection dribble would be a behind the back, right? Same concept, defender, body, basketball. When you're keeping the ball behind the back, they're gonna have to, again, really try to reach in to try to steal the basketball, and that'll put them out of position. Another thing to keep in mind though is you can use this out of the protection dribble, right? Your defender tries to come in and steal the ball here, you probably don't want to cross over because then I'll put it right into him, right? So if he comes in to steal the basketball, going behind the back is a pretty easy transition move to make when he goes in for that steal. The only issue with this is for some players, they don't have their behind the back down. So make sure you're working on your behind the back. I've got a ton of videos on working on behind the back combos and how to master behind the back on my channel. So, just search on my channel and you'll find a bunch of videos on that. The behind the back is a great way to kind of keep your body face forward so you can still see the entire floor and quickly move in either direction. Okay, the next one we want to talk about is the spin move. The spin move, the key on it is you got to be close to your defender. When it comes down to protecting the basketball, it's perfect for when the defender is trying to play pressure defense on you. And again, this works great out of your protection dribble because you're already kind of halfway into the spin, right? You just pull the ball back, boom, you're good to go. If you're too far from your defender, the spin move is a terrible move to do. If you come here and spin, boom, oh look, ball went right into the defender. Come close to the defender, same move. It's a perfect move because the whole motion, I'm protected. Again, the whole motion motion. It's body or defender body basketball, right, the whole time. Boom. That's a great move for those situations. One thing to keep in mind with the spin move though is it's not necessarily a great move for high traffic situations. So if I got another defender right here, not a good situation to use that. It's a little bit harder to see what's going on as your head is turning and you're kind of disoriented during the spin and the ball's moving in a big area, right? In those instances, you might want to use more of a kind of a tight behind the back to kind of wrap through those gaps. All right, the next method is pretty much going to work almost all the time as far as creating separation so the defender's not by the basketball so they can't get it, and it's either the retreat dribble or your step back, okay? And really the only difference between the two is the step back is more of an abrupt, quick one dribble back, whereas the retreat's sometimes a little slower or a few more dribbles to create separation. But there's a lot of pressure going on and there's a lot of defenders here or just your guys hounding you and you don't really feel like you have the ability to, you know, protect the basketball because you don't have the ball handling ability to do that. Just step back, right? That's all you need to do. And the basic idea behind it is basically, again, almost like your protection dribble. You can set it up with a jab step in, or you can be right from a stationary position, and then you're just kind of taking a little 1-2 step or a hop back while staying in that position. Then from there, you can reset back up, get squared back up, and read what your best option is. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know which one of these tips you think is going to help you the most. Okay, we got to talk about the regular crossover and when to use it also. Generally speaking, when you're really tight to your defender, I would say if you can, use more of a behind the back spin move dribble or come out of your protection to dribble and wait for him to commit to one side or the other. So it's a pretty sure thing, right? That's how you can reduce getting the ball stolen. But if you have to or really want to use the regular crossover, you got to keep a couple things in mind. Number one, you want to make sure if I'm going to, go into a crossover, I don't want to just do it right in front of him. Especially if he's waiting down here, low here, you can a lot of times look if the defender's got his hand down here, he's going to wait for your crossover. So he's going to wait for me to come across, stick his hand in down low here and wait to rip it, right? You don't want to do it in that situation. You want to either make sure you create a little separation so he can't reach to the basketball, or get him shifting this way. And to do that, you got to make sure you sell a good fake this way to get him moving that way. So that way, when he's moving, it's going to be really hard for him to keep his hand down here waiting and get the right positioning with his hand to steal the basketball. So you got to make sure you sell your fake on that. The other key point to pay attention to on your crossover is make sure you get it low. Because again, you'll get some defenders waiting here with their hand, but most defenders aren't really, going to get all the way down here. So if you can get your crossover real low, especially on the release from one hand to the other, that's going to really help minimize the amount of times that you get the ball ripped. And honestly, I'd recommend if you're really close to your defender and you feel like they have a chance of stealing your crossover, just do it between the legs. You're giving yourself that little bit, again, body protection with your leg. A lot of people always think about their whole body or their arm for the protection, but your leg can be a great way to get that extra bit of protection. And if you're moving your legs around really quick, a defender's not going to want to poke his hands in there and get his hand caught between your legs and break his wrist, right? So go with the between the legs in those situations. Easy protection, and you can still get your crossover off while you're closer to your defender, and you can still remain in more of a position where it's more of a lunge so you can take that next step to explode to the basket. Okay, if you got a defender that's really trying to go for the steal and you don't feel like you have a great handle, this is one of the most frustrating things for me to watch, is a player just kind of stand there and try to turn and move their body and move the basketball. Just find a new space. If they're trying to come in to pressure you here, just move over here, right? Sidestep, step back like we talked about earlier. Or they're coming this way, move the other way while protecting the basketball. But one of the biggest problems I see with players getting the ball stolen, especially with defenders that are being really high pressure, is they just don't move their feet. Move your feet, find a new space, so then they have to react and then you can counter move them. Finally, we got to talk about how to attack your defender, right? Because trying to get past them a lot of times when you get the ball stolen. Well, we talked about the behind the back. That's a method, right? You got your spin move. That's also a method. And from your protection dribble, you can, again, you can go into your behind the back or your spin from that. Or if they come to this side too much, you can drive. But just flat out trying to beat them off the dribble, maybe from an inside out or from a crossover, whatever the case may be, you want to make sure that you're getting low. Let's say this right here is my defender's hips. I want to try to get my shoulder down by his hips. I want to make sure I'm stepping either with this foot. Generally speaking, I would recommend this foot though. So if I'm going to the left, I would step with my right foot. I'd want to step with that foot because that gives me a little more protection over the basketball. Defender, body, basketball, right? I got my leg here, I got my body, and then if I get my shoulders down, I'm closing this little window here where he could get in to steal the ball by coming here, putting my arm here as I go, right? You could do the same thing with this leg too though. It's just a little bit harder for a lot of players to get the feel for keeping the basketball back here. The other option you would have though, and this is going to depend on the situation, is if your defender's trying to play more low down here to wait for the get in and steal the basketball, you might want to come over the top a little more or beat him to the spot. So if he's going to try to, you see he's going to try to, you know, kind of cut you off, just throw the ball out in front if you got the space to work with out here. Just get the ball out there quick before he can get to it. But you got to make sure you can get your body back to the basketball, not that he cuts your body angle off and the ball's floating out here and he jumps in front of you. Obviously you're dead in the water then. If you found this video helpful, make sure you click that subscribe button and get on that notification squad to catch the newest tips, tutorials, and drills that I have coming on my channel. I have multiple videos every week and they're all gonna help you get a lot better. Also, like I said earlier in the video, to make sure you don't get the ball stolen, you have to have good handles. Click this link right here. That's a free workout that's gonna help you boost your ball control, your athleticism while you're dribbling, and a whole bunch more so you don't get the ball stolen again. It's 100% free. Just click that link, pop in your email, and I'll send it to you instantly. Also, check out this video. You'll probably like that one as well, and check out this playlist. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more and make moves today.